Hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, and it's football news. We've got plenty of football news for you. One very big football news story in particular. I am here. Unfortunately, the DOGG, as he calls himself, Josh, is on holiday, drinking plenty of sangrias, I have absolutely no doubt. So it's down to me to give the introductions, of course, and I've been joined by two fantastic co-hosts today. First of all, she's got the eye of a tiger, a fighter dancing through the fire, because she is a champion, and you're going to hear her roar. It's Charlotte. Hello, welcome to the podcast, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm really, really good, thank you. I'm a bit tired because obviously, of course, summer holidays, so my kids have been driving me up the wall, and it's only day one of the official summer holidays. But yeah, I'm really good, and I'm ready to talk some football. How are you?
Oh, exactly the same. Is that seesaw? You can just see all the teachers in the world just go, oh, that lit, and then all the parents go, oh, here we go, day one, and it's raining, yet it's still warm. It's just the perfect mix.
It's been sunny here. It's been really nice here today.
Sunny. You got what we had yesterday, which meant that cricket couldn't get on yesterday. We needed to flip the weather around. Disaster. But it's glad to see you here, and of course, not just Charlotte. We have somebody else with it. It's. Now, this looks like a job for him. So everybody, just follow him. Because we need a little controversy. It's Lucas is here. So follow me. Welcome,
Josh.
To the
podcast. You got the bug from Josh, haven't you? The intro bug.
I had to do something. It'd be too critical if I come back and just say, here's Lucas.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm looking for. I got a long weekend coming up, so yeah, I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about the school holidays. But
so jealous. I love them, but I'm so jealous right now.
I have two younger sisters, so I do know what you're going through.
It's the entertainment factor, and the weather is crucial. The weather is crucial. Yeah. We need that weather to get them out, and keep them entertained. Because funnily enough, they're not as interested in the football stories as we are. Well, maybe one of yours might be, Shah, but I couldn't care less. We're going to go straight into it. We were going to go pre-season, and we were going to do some bits and pieces, but today of all days, Kylian Mbappe has been the subject of a lot of rumours over the last week or so. And officially today, there's been a bid accepted from Paris Saint-Germain, from Al Hilal, isn't it, Shah? Your Saudi Arabian team. I think you've claimed them.
Yeah. The only thing is I picked the worst team because with me being Northern, I can't pronounce my H's. So I call them Al Hilal. I can't say it. So I picked the worst team.
You can just call him Team Mbappe soon.
Yeah, I'll just call him Mbappe, yeah.
Mbappe's team.
It's Team Mbappe. And so it's £269 million, which is 300 million euros, apparently. There's been no talks on the players' side, I don't think, yet. And that's the next stage. But Paris Saint-Germain have accepted it. And it's a record fee. It's Saudi Arabia again. Lucas, initial thoughts? Kylian Mbappe to Saudi Arabia?
Initial thoughts, jealousy, envy. Probably should have stuck with football when I was younger. I mean, it's just a ludicrous amount of money, and I didn't realize when I first saw it. I didn't realize it was only for 1 year. So considering it's 1 year short-term contract, and he can go to Madrid afterwards, it's basically sit on PSG's bench because they will bench him for a year, or go to Saudi Arabia and earn, how much is it? £300 million.
300 million euros, 259 million. It works out at
13 million in a week contract. I mean, that is just, he'd be the highest paid individual in terms of like the highest salary of all time, I think.
It's got to be in sport as well, not just football.
Might be everything. I don't think anyone's got a salary that's ever that big. Like, Jeff Bezos' salary isn't even that big. Like,
apart from Sam Allardyce as well. Sam Allardyce, then 3 games for it.
Yeah. You wait. Sam Allardyce to Saudi Arabia.
If he goes, then football's finished. If he gets a contract over there, it's finished.
Game
But
over.
yeah, I mean, it's a stupid amount of money, but I don't see a situation where he turns it down. To be honest,
No.
Because the situation as it is that Paris Saint-Germain have said, look, you sign an extension to this contract or we're going to bench you. You're not going to play because we don't want to lose you to free next summer, which we believe you've got a pre-agreement deal with Real Madrid. So therefore, they're going to take the money and run, aren't they? I mean, the last thing that PSG need is more money to spend, but they're kind of...
they were backed into a corner. Yeah. And Saudi Arabia just bailed them out with 269 million. I mean, that's... PSG are laughing now. They're like, we're going to win. Like, nothing's going to change. We're still going to win the league. Like, it's not like we're going to win the league this season. So, yeah, it's silly money. It's huge, though, if he does go. I mean, it'd be huge for that league because it will... I mean, you got Ronaldo, Benzema. You got a few players in their prime, but I mean, Mbappe is arguably the biggest footballer on the planet right now.
As big as they come, yeah.
I mean, he's been the face of FIFA. I know FIFA's not the be all and end all, but he's been the face of FIFA for a reason for the last 3-4 years. So, I mean, this gets a lot of eyes in the league. I think people will watch it.
I was thinking that today because prior to it, I was like, I'm still not going to watch. Highlights. I'm quite intrigued, but you're not going to be able not to. We may have to cover it. We have to have another
I think
show.
we will.
Definitely need to cover
Absolutely,
it.
Saudi Arabia is going to have to be a thing. It's, as you said, Mbappe is as big a footballer as you get on the planet at the minute. He's got a massive, massive following, massive endorsement, massive talent, age, has won World Cups, not Champions Leagues yet, but surely it's coming and won't be coming now. Maybe can win. I presume there's the Asian Champions League, isn't there? I mean, people ain't going to want to draw Saudi Arabian clubs on that. Can you imagine? I mean, that's a horrendous draw.
He can score so many goals if he goes over there.
It's going to be absolutely crazy. And so welcome to, we have in the chat, Cronky's come and joined us. Nice to come and join us today. We are on Kylian Mbappe, of course. Kylian Mbappe going to Saudi Arabia. Not just the Champions League teams, but the others. It's not all the Saudi teams that have got money, is it? It's like 4 or 5 that they're backing. So there's a few still in that league that just sat there doing nothing. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you got Al Nassr, Ronaldo.
Al Nassr is Ronaldo's, yeah.
You got Al Hilal, which is now... Who have faced this? Who was the one that Mendy Koulibaly went to the same one, right?
I think so. There's Al Ittihad, isn't there?
That's the one. That's Mendy.
Is it
Neves, I think.
Ali as well or something? Because it reminds me of Aladdin.
I think that's
Kante's
one.
Yeah, that's
Kante's
one. Yeah.
But there's 4 or 5 teams now who have started spending money. Al Ittihad is where Kante is.
Where did Jordan Henderson go?
Yeah, that's Gerrard.
Is that the one with Steven Gerrard? Yeah.
Is that Al Ettifaq, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, this is just it's just beginning.
It's just beginning. This is, I mean, Mbappe is it's a game changer. It's been slowly going, and we said people like Ruben Neves. Now we had Mahrez, like Karim Benzema, all of those. But this is just different level. And it says in the chat, thanks for joining us. Ronaldo won't even be the most famous player in Saudi now. He'll be raging. No. He will. Mbappe's now the face of the league.
God,
Mbappe's now the face of the league.
It's Al Ali is Firmino and Mendy have gone to that one. And then,
aren't they the ones that they've got? They've got. Did they get who's? Yeah, they got Firmino, Mahrez, and Saint Maximin. I think as their front 3. I think.
Henderson went to Al Ettifaq because that's where Henderson's gone.
Al Ettifaq.
I mean, wow. This is about 6 of the teams have started signing.
Big players.
Not Henderson, but yeah. no names. I say no names. So it's only going to continue. I mean, I wonder if Mbappe goes, there'll be a domino effect and it will go right. And a lot of our players will go, well, let's just go for a year or go for 2 years or something.
Yeah. I was going to say, to open the door, and if nothing else, does it make contract negotiations a nightmare now? If you've got a player coming up to the last 12 months or something in the contract, then you're going to be seriously worried because they're going to put all sorts of demands on the table to try and stay. And probably some of those owners are also thinking, maybe we need to get that Super League thing started up again to try and
Yeah.
compete, because that's kind of
True.
what's
Yeah.
happening in Saudi. Is it's all stars, isn't it? It's like franchise teams. It's crazy.
It kicks
Charles,
off
what do you
that
think
discussion
Mbappe
anyway.
wise? Are you you hoping they don't come after any of Rochdale's players?
I know. I'm actually hoping he take this podcast on so we get paid millions. But no, I think he's got to go, really. I think it's the best thing now for PSG, and obviously it suits him if it is only for a year. He benefits a lot for it. Obviously it will help the league in one respect as well, because as we mentioned, not only have we got Ronaldo, they've got other players, but they've got Mbappe, and he's the star that everyone's talking about, everyone wants to watch at the minute. All the kids, like around my area, I don't know about you guys, but they've always got an Mbappe shirt, like a PSG one. So I think it's the best thing, to be honest, for all parties, and him in general. It suits him down to a T, doesn't it? He gets to play there for a year. He's not sat on the bench at PSG. He'll then get to go to Real Madrid, and he's getting paid an arm and a leg, isn't he? So how could he turn that down?
It's crazy. And when does the Saudi league start? Is it one of these split seasons as well? It might not be a full season. I don't know when it's
point,
supposed to
actually,
kick
yeah.
off. It might be
I
like
think
a part
they're
season,
January,
or
right? I think January, Feb till November.
till
Is that
November.
right?
So he might only do 6 months. That would be mad if he's gone for 6 months. On a
No, it would have to be a year, surely, because then
he's got to have done a
what's it going
full
to do from
season.
January? £19 a second he'll earn that contract.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
it's not a bad deal, is it?
It's just
Come on,
Stop.
come on, Josh,
So
pull your finger
jealous.
out.
what's
I
the
know.
Euro Millions jackpot tomorrow?
Yeah, why exactly? He's hit it 3 times over, isn't he?
He has to go. Yeah, he
Can't
has to.
not, can he? Can't not.
I, for one, am glad, because it means Mbappe on the Ultimate Team won't be as overpowered, because no one will have chemistry. So it won't be a load of teams filled with gold Mbappe.
Well, you say that unless everyone's got all the other Saudi teams, and then
yeah,
just watch.
Oh yeah, there'll be loads
Kante
of
will have
like
nationality
upgraded.
as well, and yeah.
And it's not FIFA as well, it's EA's game, so they won't have any. There'll be no politics involved. There'll be no keeping people happy. It'll be like they'll have all the Saudi players will be like
Yeah.
they'll have a Henderson 98 card or something like that.
That'll be a nightmare. And so, what's FM24 going to be like for Football Manager players? You know, it's not
the
just
amount
Paris
of
Saint-Germain.
saves.
There's another 6 teams coming after you. Wonder Kids.
Yeah.
There's
That's gonna be
nothing
fun
you'll be able to do
maneuver,
about
actually,
it.
Yeah, all your top players, like it's the Saudi league now. Might manage over there actually.
It's going to be
Do a save.
some fun saves over there for Saudi Arabia. We are going to have to watch this thing, because it's
I know.
there are some
It's
top
getting
players
there now.
out there.
Yeah,
It's getting serious business, and we're still a month before the transfer window shuts. So
yep. Anything can happen.
anything can happen now.
There was rumours as well of them wanting Fulham's manager.
Yeah,
Marcus Silva,
they offered
they're
him a
sniffing,
contract.
Yeah.
He turned it down.
I suppose
I saw it's 40 million for the year, which would make him one of the highest paid managers in the world. I think, if not the highest paid manager in the world.
Wow.
That's mad, isn't it? It's going to get there. You take the top players, the top managers will go.
Yeah.
You know, for a season, couple of seasons. It's ruthless over here anyway. Often 12 months to 18 months is a job, and then you move on to something else. So why not go over there for 12 months and then come back? Nothing to lose, really.
Yeah.
Although I have seen some of the clips of Gerrard trying to trade some of the Saudi Arabian players. And it's there's a slight language barrier, I think, as well.
I was going to
maybe
say,
trading capability.
did you see that little bit that we put on social media when he got announced manager and he was talking and he was trying to pronounce the team? And I'm
selfie
thinking,
video.
Nobody is going to understand Steven Gerrard. I'm sorry, but
I don't know how he got hired. Oh,
that was the best introductory hired manager since Steve McLaren in the Netherlands.
I better not see Lampard getting an offer over there.
Guaranteed.
I better not. No, they can't. Don't do it.
They can. The Saudi Arabian Lampard versus Gerrard debate continues.
Do you reckon as well? Do you reckon, like, when one of the teams are fighting a relegation battle, they ring Roy Hodgson? like Carlo.
The thing, like Sam Allardyce, these guys might be on the cards at some point.
Be your Harry Redknapps and all sorts if they're out and do a year in,
Tony Pulis.
Tony Pulis, Neil Warnock. I love Neil Warnock out in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, imagine.
It'd be a dream. It'd be a dream. Hello, Heather. Thanks for joining us. Heather is joining us in the chat as well. If you are listening to us, of course, on the audio platforms, you can join us on YouTube and Twitch live on Mondays and Thursdays with a brand new show, which we will be promoting later on, won't we, Shah? Lower League football will be coming up, where Saudi Arabia have not touched too much. They haven't nicked too many players from the Championship yet.
I wish she took over us.
And Zir says that accent barrier, all those Saudi players would have gone to Oxford. Yeah. It's a very different playing field we're playing on now with transfers. It really is very different playing field.
I'd like to see it happen though. I just think it would change. It will have such an impact overall. It could be quite interesting. Because I didn't even think about the managers. I think that's something we're out of time before those deals just start flying out now.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And now they've got Mbappe. They're going to want it, and he was probably going to demand he wants a top coach there. He's not going to go and work for Phil Neville.
Please take Pep.
Oh,
please take Pep.
Please. This is the hope.
Beg.
Pep. Haaland. Decimate him. We'll start again.
If they take Pep, please, throw 100 million at Pep and see if he goes. You get Pep over there to manage Mbappe. I mean, just do it.
Just do it. Exactly. Let the rest of us fight again. Let's have a Premier League behind the scenes.
Surprised they haven't gone for Harry Kane. Now that he has to go, I'm surprised why he's not. Maybe it's in the works.
It could be. I don't think anyone's off the table, is it? You know, the Mbappe potential deal shows that. I don't think anybody is off the table for them to say money's not the object. So if anybody fancies him, then boom, there you go. There's a load of money.
Oh,
maybe.
I wouldn't. You never know.
You never know. It might suit him. Perfectly. And oh my God, don't have this going on. 2-1 that Mbappe gets loaned to Newcastle
in the off season.
Imagine.
So he goes there till January and then goes to Wow.
That would be crazy. And Heather's in favour of get Pep for 250.
250, yeah.
Pep out. Crazy. I think I agree with you, Lucas. I think he's going to go. I can't see why he isn't going. What else is going to tempt him away?
1 year of Champions League where you're not going to win it again.
You're not going to win
it. Even so, he's not going to play. They're not going to play him.
No, they're going to let him sit there, so he's not going to get any football. He can't really go anywhere else now,
unless it's one of the teams that have bid. Which is what was the list? It was United. I'm not even going to mention like that.
United.
I'm not going to mention the chicken team.
Tottenham apparently.
Whoever put that in there is clearly bantering.
Chelsea, of course.
So but Chelsea, again, I thought was interesting because they're looking for a franchise player. I just think, but
Chelsea's the one I could. Yeah, it suits their motto, doesn't it? It suits their MO. It suits what they're kind of about. I can't see that United can't afford him. They can't get the Harry Kane deal done because of FFP and cost and the rest of it. So there's no chance of that happening.
What about City?
I suppose. Well, they've got enough breaches of it, God. So why not have one more with the 250 million sneak on that?
City just did it.
Mbappe
City
and Haaland.
did it. And then Pep signs a new contract for 5 year, another 5 year contract.
Or they sign some. They'll sign a new franchise deal that Al Etty back and call him Al Etty head, and then it'll be another one of their group, won't it? You know, they've got around the world. It'll be another franchise job. Everything's possible. Everything's possible.
It'll move quick though. I don't think this will be waiting around. I think by the end of this week we'll know.
I think it will. Yeah, I mean, so the next bit's Mbappe, isn't it? I can't imagine. I think his contract demands are going to take too long. What do you want? I'll have this, and this. Fine. Then money's no object, so he can put whatever number he wants, and they'll probably sign it. So, and good evening to Martin as well. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Mbappe. We will see what happens. I've got this list of other transfers. They seem really minor now. They just seem really kind of. My next one was Harvey Barnes to Newcastle, and you're like, a couple of days ago that was pretty big, but now we're looking at us. Let's go on to it because we've got a Premier League that we're still interested in at the same time. Harvey Barnes to Newcastle, Charlotte. Good deal, good price. Good move.
So. I think it's a really good signing for him. Obviously, he's been linked for a while now, but Yeah, I think it is a typical Eddie Howe signing as well. Like he's not done a stupid signing as of yet, kind of thing. I think it's someone who Eddie Howe would sign, and yeah, I think he'll be a great addition. And they've made some good signings before that as well. So they're adding to what they did have. Obviously, we've seen St. Maximum go the other way, but yeah, I think all round it's a great signing for both Harvey Barnes, Leicester. They've obviously profited from it as well. And yeah, I'm happy with that for Newcastle.
Leicester have now got, say, Maddison and Barnes done fairly early, haven't they? And they were having some financial difficulties going down, but they've also, I would imagine, still got a bit of a chest now to play with to try and get themselves out of the Championship. Yeah, I like Harvey Barnes. I think
I like Harvey.
He had a decent season last season. Maddison had a good season looking at Maddison's stats versus how Leicester actually did. I think Barnes obviously nowhere near what he was the previous season, but I think he could fit in nicely in Newcastle. It gives them another option, doesn't he? They've got some good attacking players now with Isak and Wilson, and they've got Anthony Gordon as well, of course, haven't they? Yeah. Still trying to bed him in. Lucas's favourite, Miguel Almiron, is still there, chipping away and doing bits. Do you think Harvey Barnes goes straight in the starting lineup, Lucas, or more of a rotation?
I like Harvey Barnes. I think he's got end product, which is what St. Maximin doesn't have. He's a little bit injury prone. He's a bit of a sick note. I'm not sure what they're going to do this season because they ended it. It was Wilson up front and Ishak on the left. So unless they are going to bench Wilson and play Harvey Barnes, which I think probably makes sense now. I think you need to, if you're two strikers, Ishak and Wilson, I think you've got to leave one on the bench. Especially with Champions League, you've got to try and maintain one's fitness. You can't play both of them for the whole season, I think. So I can see a world in which Harvey Barnes does start. I don't think he'll straight away, but I think eventually. Although they played the 5 at the back, so I don't know. Like Howe might be switching it up. Their last friendly day was 5 at the back, so they weren't really playing with traditional wingers. So, but yeah, I think he's good enough for sure.
So you can fit in. Champions League's a good point because there's a lot that needs to be factored in with that. So Heather touches on as well, as you mentioned. Callum Wilson's very injury prone, so you've got to be very careful how you manage him. Martin says in the chat he believes it will thrive in the St. Maximin spot. He was a very promising player under a brilliant manager. Yeah, completely agree. I think he's going to fit in a different way, and I think I think Newcastle are going to evolve a little bit in the way they're playing. Yeah. I think we're going to see a little bit more flexibility and versatility how they play. I think this is the next step. But Champions League's a lot for them to manage, depending on because there's the potential they get a shocking group as well with their coefficient too. So that will give them some very exciting games, but a lot of very difficult games in a very heavy Premier League period in the early part of the season. So I think Harvey Barnes is I think he's a good signing. He's a good signing. Another good signing. And say welcome. I think it's Starla. Hopefully I've got your name right. Starla says, "What do you think about Elanga to Forest? Anthony Elanga to Forest. Man United have got a fee for a player. Got a fee for selling a player. £15 million. Lucas, £15 million. Good. Too much. Not enough for Elanga. What do you make of Elanga?
Nottingham Forest are an absolute joke of a football club. I'm sorry, but they are. Because they should have been relegated, and they just about survived. And it was like, okay, go and do some good business. And I'm hearing 30 million for Dean Henderson, and then 15 million for Elanga. Like Elanga's a League 2 footballer at best. Dean Henderson. I mean, Dean Henderson's just there. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say about Dean Henderson. If you get 45 million for Dean Henderson and Elanga, that'll be the best bit of business you do this summer, regardless of who you. If you bring in Harry Kane, that will still be a better bit of business than getting Harry Kane. 45 million for Dean Henderson and Elanga. Yeah, that's a very good deal. Well done. Well played, United. Well played. And also, why are they doing business with you? Like you have you gave them, who'd you give them? Dean Henderson. Who else did you get?
Jesse Lingard. They got Jesse Lingard. Yeah, there you go. All our stars, Elanga is a little bit Lingard 2.0.
Have you heard about Jesse Lingard? Apparently he set up his own football team and he's doing trials. Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia?
I know, yeah.
Lings FC. There we go.
Yeah, no, Elanga is borderline mediocre footballer, so I don't know the reasoning behind that, but
It's strange because I say,
we'll see.
Martin says Lucas isn't a Forest fan. I know. Here we go. Yeah, Lucas sitting on the fence as always with his opinions on Nottingham Forest. Yeah, Alanga was not even a squad player really. He filled in aspects where we didn't have anything else, and has some ability. I'd like to see him get a run in a team, but I don't know if he's done enough really to deserve a Premier League move, if I'm honest. But hopefully for him, he always had a good attitude, and he gets a few games. He's given us £15 million, hopefully, to maybe add to the kit. If we get 30 for Dean Henderson, I mean, you always forgot we had him until he came back kind of this summer. He had all the bad blood last season when he went. He had the season on loan with Forest, but we need him out because he was one of the top 5 paid goalkeepers in the Premier League for us as a backup goal. We had 2 of the top 5.
Wow.
I mean, you can only play one goalkeeper. It's not difficult. Don't pay them both a ridiculous amount of money because one of them isn't going to play and you're just going to be wasting that wage on something else. So he needs to move on, particularly with Onana coming in. 45 million, I'd absolutely take their hands off. We've already got 4 million for Alex Telles. 4 million from Saudi Arabia. We're just saying pre-bod. Everyone else is getting this sweet Saudi money. We get 4 million, a bag of fruit. But for Alex Telles, everyone else is getting monopoly money. Unbelievable. We passed go and everything. And £4 million. Can't believe it. Never mind. Other names I've got on my list in terms of transfers. One that's happened today, Wilfried Zaha. To Galatasaray. I thought he was Saudi Arabia bound as well. What's that about? Wilfried Zaha to Galatasaray.
I mean, I said it was a massive L, and a load of people disagreed with me earlier today because I was like, why would you turn down £30 million for a contract in Saudi Arabia to go and play for Galatasaray just because you want to play in the Champions League? He's getting paid $6 million a year at Galatasaray. So I was like, okay, if you want to stay in Europe and play in the Champions League, usually when players say they want to play in the Champions League, it means they want to play for a team that has a chance of winning the Champions League. Yeah. You're going to play 6 games in the Champions League. And there's a chance that of those 6 games, 4 of them you could get spanked because you could be playing Madrid and Bayern or Barcelona and AC Milan. So you're going to play 2 games in the Champions League next season where you'll have a chance to actually do something. And that's where you've turned down an additional £24 million a year. I'm like, how in any way is that a good career move?
Yeah,
exactly. For some Champions League caps. It's like,
and if you want to play at some great stadiums like the Nou Camp or Bernabeu, go to someone in La Liga and you get to play them twice. I don't get it. There's no.
People are like, what's to stay in Europe? It's like, do you know how far? Turkey is not a quick flight. It's not. It's not like you can't just get a train to Turkey.
No, and Azir says in the chat, Zaha got homesick in Manchester. So
yeah, exactly.
Turkey's a bit far.
Turkey's just because of Europe, it doesn't mean it's still. What's it? 3.5 hours? 4 hours?
Cyprus is a good 3-4 hours,
flight.
Isn't it?
And so, Saudi Arabia is what, 5-6 hours? Maybe?
Saudi Arabia is a bit further, yeah. So a lot more money.
£24 million extra. I mean, look, I'd love £6 million a year. Don't get it twisted. I would think. But if it was between that and £30 million a year, with the only difference being you could end up with a Turkish league and some caps in the Champions League, in my opinion, I just think that's a silly move.
It's mad. A Champions League move has to be to compete. It's not to just get a
tick box.
It's a tick box. You might as well go for someone who can qualify through the qualifying stages and get through to that. There's lots of teams that play in the Champions League. There's lots of players now that have Champions League caps that aren't ever going to win the Champions League. It's not unless you're playing those big teams, then you get a day out, and as you say, you get spanked. It's not quite the same fun. So, and so moving off, so we've had your thoughts on Nottingham Forest, Lucas. What about Heather? Wants to know what you think of Bournemouth's business. Are Bournemouth staying up now, Lucas, with what they've done?
Have they signed Mbappe? Bournemouth's fate has been sealed. Okay. Who have they signed? They sold that midfielder I quite like, Lamina. They sold him, right?
Jefferson Lerma went, didn't he?
Lerma, not Lamina.
Yeah, he's Fulham.
How much I like him.
Lerma's gone to Palace.
Good signing.
I forget who they bought in.
It's a good player, Lerma. They bought Cliver, right?
Kluivert, not Patrick. I always want to say Patrick Kluivert.
Justin Kluivert.
Justin Kluivert, of course it is.
Yeah,
Justin
I hate him. Not because he plays with Bournemouth, but he's one of the worst players I've managed on Football Manager, so I just don't like him.
The Football Manager bias.
Yeah, it's just the Football Manager bias. Have they signed anyone else?
They've signed
new manager.
So they've got new manager. They've got they've turned the loan deal for Hamed Traore into a permanent. That's 20 million from Sassuolo. Roman Favre of Lyon, and a left back from AZ Alkmaar. There you go. Milos. Here we go. Heather's on the case. Milos Kerkez has signed left back, Hungarian left back. There you go.
I like your new manager. That's yeah.
There you go.
So you're in the 3 out of 10 transfer window so far, Bournemouth. So there's still some time to go.
There's still some time. Positivity all the way.
Still some time to go.
Still some signings to be made. And a team that are sort of a bit busy, well, are going to have to be a bit busy because they look like they've got an exit to Saudi Arabia. Shah it's your favourite striker.
I know.
Alexander Mitrovic has all gone a bit pear-shaped, hasn't it, the last couple of weeks? What's happening there?
I know, it's just spat his dummy out, really, hasn't it? Because obviously they don't want him to go. And now I think it came on Sky Sports News as breaking news that his family, not even him, his family have told Fulham that he will never play for Fulham again if they don't let him move. That's basically like it's when crazy. You were little, getting your mum and dad to tell your friend that you weren't going out or something.
Yeah, Dad, have a word.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It just, I get it. Like, obviously, I said it last week. I get it from like the family perspective, where if they come at you and offer you a lot of money, you've got to take it from the family side. But I just think as well, at the same time, he's been at that club for years. Treat the club with a little bit more respect. And I do get Fulham, because obviously he is the leading goal scorer. They don't want him to go, is obviously in their plans. But if he is going to treat them like this, then you have to sell him, because you'd rather have the money for him and get a striker in when you can than obviously let it go on and then him finally either not play and then you have to sell him, or he wants to go regardless. So if I was Fulham, I'd just get the move done as soon as, because then you've got time to bring someone else in.
Yeah,
they have, I think, already.
Yeah, Raul Jimenez for 5.5 million, I think, on the.
Oh.
But I mean, he's not the same guy since the injury, is he?
No.
But maybe a change of scenery might do him good. You never know.
Maybe.
But between him and, I mean, Carlos Vinicius did do pretty well when Mitrovic was banned.
That was true. Yeah, he did.
He was surprised because he was non-existing at Spurs, but I was surprised when I saw Fulham playing with him up front. Like he was really good. Held the line well, like scored a few goals as well, and like link up play, like he was good. So I think between him and Jimenez, using the money, if they get like 50 million from Mitrovic, add a couple midfielders, maybe a couple of defense, I think it's enough to keep them up. I don't know necessarily to have a similar season, but I think if they use that money well, I think they have enough in the tank to stay up again.
Definitely. I mean, they're trying to ward off bids at the minute for Paulinho. Also went off injured yesterday. He hurt his shoulder. So
yeah. West Ham were interested in him, wasn't they?
West Ham wanted him for 45, but I think he went off with his shoulder, which was a little bit worrying yesterday. So they might be without him for a few weeks, but better than losing him entirely. Oh, I know Willian signed a 1-year extension, isn't he? So he's remaining there as well in their front line. But yeah, 50 million for Mitrovic, but he's such a flat track bully in the Premier League. He's so good in the Premier League.
There he is.
If United had picked him up for 30 million, 20, I'd be quite happy, actually. I think, that kind of players it's going to be very difficult. And Simon is pulling out the Roy Keanes with Mitrovic as a big baby, a big baby.
He is.
for his confirmations. And Ashley joins us in the chat to say it's a relegation battle for Fulham this year. They're going to be struggling.
I think they'll struggle. I think they'll struggle.
Wouldn't surprise me, but I forgot about Paulinho because he's still there. I think the rest of the team is okay. It's just replacing the goals.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a difficult one, even with the money, to try and find an answer to sort that issue out with Mitrovic looking like he's another. I don't know. I'm not sure which Saudi Arabian club he's off to, but
it was Al. I can't say it again. Al Hilal. I had to full on pause in between, but yeah, that's the one he was linked with. But how funny would it be if after all this, because we were saying about obviously the manager as well being potentially someone that Saudi League One. Imagine after all this he left. The manager actually went. And
he goes with him. They get the same private jet. Well, Mitrovic rings him up and says, "I've heard that you're getting this Mbappe fella, and I want to rediscuss my contract because, there's a few clauses that I read in Fabrizio's Twitter tweet that wasn't his ex." Fabrizio's ex that he sent out. I want mine upgraded a little bit, and then he starts throwing his toys out the pram again. Who knows? So Mitrovic to Saudi Arabia. Jimenez is coming in. Another team that have done a bit of business, who've done some very, very good business so far, is Aston Villa. Aston Villa have picked up Moussa Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen, a very positive, aggressive attacking player for the new season. I feel it a bit ironic because he was the reason that Leon Bailey got shoved out originally to Aston Villa. Now it seems like he's going to come in and take his place again at Villa.
He's a bit. He's one of those. I think he's a little bit overhyped, trendy player. Moussa Diaby. He's all right, but
how much did they pay for
35 million? I think it was. Which again, that's not a lot of money. So he's not going to light the league on fire, but you don't really lose too much with that amount of money.
No, it's it's
just shrewd business. It's just adding more depth. Like they're taking it serious that they're in the Conference League and they're like, we have European football. We don't want to end up in a relegation battle because we're in Europe. So
I think they're looking at what happened with West Ham, aren't they? And looking and saying, look, if we want to have a real successful run in that competition, look what it can do to your league form, and you can't deal with that with the same 11. So it's shrewd and sensible, and it's interesting. Villa for me are one of the ones I'm looking forward to actually. Particularly that first. I think they've got Newcastle that first weekend, and that to me seemed a really interesting game.
Yeah.
So many matchups now as well. Now you got Villa and Brighton as like big games now.
Yeah.
It's like every weekend you're gonna have 2 games, which is just like 10 out of 10 fixtures.
Colossal.
Yeah,
massive.
Exactly.
It's going to be some massive fixtures. Another one Villa have been linked to is the Ox. I've heard Oxlade-Chamberlain's been another, apparently they've been sniffing around. Them and Brentford, I think, are the two with the Ox. Could you see a Villa move for the Ox?
I'm trying to think. 4-4-2. Where would he? He's versatile. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He can play on the wing. He can play in that central midfield position, and he can play as a second striker. But I think Brentford maybe makes more sense from a physical point of view. You won't have to do it because they play 3 in the midfield and a back 5. That 4-4-2 is gonna have to do a lot of work. So it can work. It's just it's risky, isn't it? Like the guy's not fit. So I just think him it just feels like another Premier League team, really.
I guess on a free, it's less of a risk, isn't it? So you're like, okay, we'll see what you do.
You got to give him a pay as you play contract situation.
I think he'd be a good squad player. Like, I don't know if he'd start, especially for Aston Villa. I don't know if he'd start like a lot of games, but I think he'd definitely be a good squad player to have. Yeah,
definitely. And it's the kind of role he was when he was fit, was performing at Liverpool anyway, wasn't it? Coming in and doing bits, and he could do a 30-minute stint in a game at the back end. I think on a free, particularly if you're Brentford or even Villa, that's not a bad one to build a bit of squad depth. If he gets injured, he gets injured. You say if you can get the right deal with him contract wise, then you're not going to lose out too much. So, Villa will be interesting. Heather she loves Villa Park. I do like Villa Park. Villa Park's one of those classic traditional English stadiums. Is Villa Park. I think that's more or less all the transfers. Is there any other transfers that you guys can think off the top of your head that you want to? Anything that's happened in the National League, Shah? Anything of note?
I can go into it. Obviously, today we've got rid of James Ball. He's gone to Wimbledon on a free transfer. A lot of Rochdale fans were quite happy about this because it was one of them players that when he first came, he had a lot of potential and he were on a good run, but then just something didn't click right with him. So a lot of our fans didn't like him. They said he had a bad attitude and stuff. But from my experience of him, like, don't get me wrong, on the pitch, he could have done better. He wasn't the best. It just didn't click for him. But off the pitch, he'd always like fully support like the campaign, like with my little boys. He was always really good with them if he wanted a picture or a chat. So yeah, it's a bit of a controversial one because a lot of our fans won't agree with me. But from a personal side, I can't fault the guy. But I think it's the best for both parties because even though it was a free transfer, I just think he was on quite a lot of wages as well, like I've said in the past with other players. So it frees up some money for the budget. And yeah, that's all really. We've signed a few decent players. Our pre-season's been going quite well, but I'm not going to get too excited because we've won pretty much every game last pre-season. And look at us, we got relegated. But yeah.
Sometimes it's not the best. Yeah, the preseason is the practice. You don't want to be hitting. I'm a bit like that with my tennis. If I serve really well in the warm up, I'm like, oh no, this is terrible. This is not good. As soon as you step into the match, it all goes pear shaped. You want to be serving all over the shop in the warm up, and then you're building up nicely. Yeah, transfers happening and television appearances for Rochdale as well. You've been. I think Rochdale watch-alongs might have to be considered coming up soon.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say about the National League is you get a lot more TV rights. And it's on, I think, is it now TNT Sports, what Laura Woods is going to? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we didn't really get much coverage on Sky. Obviously, there's a lot of bigger teams, isn't there, around us? I'm not going to sit here and say we're a big club because we're not, but we're classed as one of the big boys now, which has never happened to Rochdale. So I am enjoying it. The only bad thing is a lot of the time when we are on TV, we do lose. So I'm hoping we turn a corner with that one. Then again, we lose most games. So I'm hoping this is a fresh start for us.
That's it. Anything new you can lob in the pot that might just, change things up. That's it. Be positive. New season.
I know. The only thing I am worried about, though, I don't know if you guys saw that Gateshead the other day. Did you see what happened? And they're in our league. So judging by that, I am a bit scared what National League is bringing. That's one thing I'm quite afraid about. But
that was mad. Yeah. So if you didn't see that there was they drove a hearse on the pitch, didn't they? They managed to get somehow through the gates. There was a hearse and then they all jumped into a car and there was some shenanigans and I heard today it was a process against the owners and circumstances that are not broadcastable. I'm not sure how true they are either. So we'll leave that there. But yeah, it was a very strange situation. That is for sure what Gate said.
It's like a welcome to National League, wasn't it?
Oh, it is welcome to National League. And so there's lots of other teams have been doing bits, and I will just sort of touch on, as Martin's put this in the chat, that Plymouth Argyle broke their transfer record twice in a week with 2 £1 million signings. Plymouth, of course, making big moves, having gone up to the Championship this season. So they are trying to do what they can. And I think this is the perfect segue into, we just want to sort of just take a minute to share with you that, of course, if you've seen us on the socials, we have an exciting new show coming up on Thursday, which is hosted by our very own Charlotte, and Scoops will be joining us as well, won't he? And if you have a few others in your team, do you want to just speak briefly about what's going on Thursday, Charlotte?
Yeah, so Thursday, it's a bit of a teaser for our new not National League, lower league, absolutely lower league show. So what it is, it'll be a little bit of a preview. We'll talk about the promoted teams, the relegated teams, go through the opening day fixtures and just give a few predictions to where we think some of the teams will finish. And yeah, just have a bit of a review on transfer updates, if anything's gone on within the other leagues. I know something's happened with Swindon today. I don't know if it's about ownership or something involved. I'm not too aware on that at the minute, but I do have a Swindon fan as well who is joining my team, the absolutely lower league team. So I'm sure we'll find out a bit more about that. But yeah, it's going to be really good. I've got fans from all different teams, all the different leagues. So yeah, it shouldn't be biased anyway. We've got quite a good mixture.
We've got a selection, a lot of clubs, a lot of clubs to talk about and get through. So there will be a dedicated lower league podcast that will be coming to you when the season's on weekly. because there's so many games in the EFL and National League, of course, that cover.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that we give it the justification that it deserves. So we're looking forward to that kicking off on Thursday with the preview show. But we still have a few more things to get through. I've got some football shirts to come up with soon, but I've let Lucas get away with this for 45 minutes. That there was pre-season games, huge pre-season games going on.
Yeah, Chelsea-Brighton was a pretty good
Chelsea
fixture,
Brighton
wasn't
was
it?
a very good game. There was a double Desi between Liverpool and Greuther Fürth the other day of Germany. Yeah,
Newcastle.
Newcastle versus Aston Villa, 3 goals everywhere, by the way, super goals. But the one I wanted to touch on to start with, Arsenal 0, Manchester United 2, Lucas. To paraphrase Josh, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel?
I didn't actually watch it, to be fair, but I've seen the extended highlights, the tactical analysis, the breakdowns. It's preseason, isn't it? I know it sounds like it is, but it's preseason. It is all about testing systems and things like that. But that doesn't mean you can get away with shit performances. And I'm sorry, but what the hell is going on with our midfield? Because this Odegaard, Havertz, Rice. I mean, I know Rice has just joined, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I think the balance between the three, it needs some work. It's going to need some work, and the season's coming around the corner. And I knew this was going to happen. Like, you can't just take Thomas Partey and Xhaka out of the team and expect it to suddenly be like, those are 2 key midfielders in that system. Take them out and expect it to suddenly just be, to not even be the same, to improve straight away. Like, it's very risky doing that. I think Partey has to start. Like, whatever we're doing, Thomas Partey has to start. If he's staying here, he has to start.
Is he definitely staying? Because the rumours have seemed to have gone away, don't they? Is he 100%?
I imagine they'd want to sell him, but it looks like the club have come out with a statement saying that they're trying to keep him, which I think they wouldn't come out considering the circumstances and saying that. But I don't know. I had my uncertainties with this whole midfield thing, this whole Havertz in the midfield. I just think it's a bit dodgy. The goals themselves, I think there wasn't anything too crazy there. I mean, the long ball of the top stuff was a bit messy. That looked like fitness and concentration as opposed to
it's just an error, wasn't it?
It was just the error. I was just more, I think defensively, I think even like Ramsdale, the saves, the only concern I'd say from that game was our midfield and how we were creating chances. I'm sorry, Eddie Nketiah, like, Heather, do Bournemouth need a new striker? Because please, can someone just buy Eddie Nketiah? Because I'm tired. I'm really sick and tired of seeing him at Arsenal. He just like, why are we pretending like Eddie Nketiah is a good player and he hasn't had chances? He's been here for like 4 years now, in and around the first team, and he does nothing. Give Balogun a chance. Why would you not? Like, you've got Jesus as the starter, which means you can afford to take a risk on the backup striker. We know what we're getting with Nketiah. We don't know what we're getting with Balogun. You send players out on loan and they have a breakout season. When that happens, you should give them a chance. So I just think Nketiah is just like, in the Champions League, if anything happens to Jesus again or he goes on the drought, what the hell are we going to do? So yeah, that would be my concerns. I mean, more importantly, like Man United, you guys look good. And Kobbie Mainoo, what the hell? Where have you been hiding him?
This kid,
like, for God's sake, you got your next Rashford.
Well, there were hints last season. Like he played in a couple of games, I think in the Europa League, and he was brought on. And there was a couple where Ten Hag spent a lot of time with him, like at the end of games. There was, I think, in the cup, like League Cup final, pictures of him. And there's been a lot of hype around kind of this kid. But we get hype on kids, and it's hard because they never get the time. They disappear on loan. You never see them, and then they end up being like Anthony Elanga, for example, who stick around the squad for a couple of years, and then they move out. It doesn't turn into anything, but. Yeah, the bits I saw of him, God, the composure and a midfield player like that on the turn, dropping into the defence, picking those through ball passes. He was quick, he was strong as well on the ball, which surprised me too for his age. The question with him is, do you hang on to him this season and not send him out on loan on the basis that he's going to be on the periphery of the squad and you feel that that's going to be more benefit because he's not going to get the minutes? You know, I think the talent's there that he could break through if you give that chance. If you've not got, I'd rather try to bring someone like him through this season than have bloody McTominay and Fred every flipping couple of weeks.
You know what you're getting.
It doesn't work.
My point. Like,
move forward. Have to take a risk. Bring that young player through. Have him learning off a Casemiro, for example, which is only going to improve him, even if he's not playing might get 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, then build him up, play him in cup games, like you do with most young players. But yeah, he massively impressed me. I think he was excellent. Jadon Sancho's pace was a surprise to me.
Right. Well, we need to talk about that as well, because what the hell was that?
Where did that come from? Like, he was last season, he couldn't run away from anybody. I mean,
that was ridiculous. When I saw it, it wasn't the camera angles were awful as well, because it's pre-season. I didn't know who it was. I was like, who the hell is this? And then it zoomed in there with Sancho. I was like, you kidding me? Sancho's outpacing Gabriel. I was like, okay, well, this is concerning. And you played him striker as well, so
played him at 9. Yeah.
Well, he knows this is where we know he's Sanchez, because Sancho knows this is his last chance.
Yeah.
If he has another average season, he's gone. He'll be loaned out, or he'll be rotting on the bench until his contract runs out. This is his last chance, so he has to step up. And he looks from the game, he looks like physically a lot fitter than he has for a while, which is maybe what he needed. But I mean, if you get, I was impressed by you lot, and I still think you need a couple more pieces. I think an Amrabat would be amazing, and then the striker. And then I think your team looks good, and you're swapping players around. Like,
there's more solidarity.
I think you look good.
You can see the evolution in play with Onana to come in as well to change it in, and they're almost playing like a 3-1-6 at times, aren't they? With Manu dropping into the back line, and we've got different options now in the attack. Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, all slightly different. We haven't got a striker. That's the one centerpiece.
Yeah.
And I still think there's question marks on your fullbacks.
Yes,
I think it's your weakest area. Your fullbacks, I'm just not. I don't think you've got very good fullbacks at all, both sides.
The fitness of the centre backs worries me a tad as well. I think if you've got a fit Varane and a fit Martinez, I'm happy all day long. Lindelof is okay for a backup, but Varane's fitness will not last the season, so you're going to have stints where he's going to drop out. I liked what I saw. As you say, it's all pre-season, so it's all kind of conjecture, and people are getting up to speed. But promising signs from that. We've also got we touched on a few of the games. The Premier League Summer Series, they called it, which is the most American-style pre-season tournament that you could come up with. Chelsea 4, Brighton 3. I just want to. Well, there was two things I want to touch on. One, Mudryk's goal. Do you see Mudryk's goal? Fantastic kind of touch volley. That's the talent.
He's a good player.
Of that guy.
He's a good player.
He's a coming.
Yeah.
Of course, and Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson scored goals as well. So that was nice.
Nkunku's going straight into my FPL. I've been saying that with Poch. Poch loves a goal scoring 10. Yeah, doesn't he? In all of his systems, he had Neymar doing it at PSG in the 10. Dele Alli, we all know about. And now it's Nkunku. He loves a midfielder who's just running into the box and scoring. So Nkunku, 7 million FPL. There you go.
Bargain.
But that Chelsea game, I'll tell you what impressed me was fucking Andre Santos in midfield. Chelsea were playing some good football in periods of that game. They were outplaying Brighton, and I was like, this was my nightmare coming to fruition. Even Liverpool played some good football. I was like, Liverpool and Chelsea, I think people need to just be a little bit concerned about. Chelsea's the big one. I think everyone is kind of aware of Liverpool, but people are writing them off again, like they did the year when they finished 4th. Everyone wrote them off, and then they finished 2nd on like 90-something points again. Yeah, but it's like Chelsea with no Champions League football. If they keep the players fit, Pochettino will have it. If Pochettino has them playing well, Chelsea are going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's how quick that clicks. So I think you're right. Everyone I'm talking to on Liverpool we're all thinking it's coming. The Liverpool juggernaut is back. The grit's between the teeth. The midfield's changed, and you can see how that's going to work. They've got threats all over the place. Different role for Trent. All sorts of things are happening at Liverpool that you think, I can see what's happening here. Chelsea, we're just all still a bit, how's it all fit together? Yeah. But you start to see things like that. You go, okay, if that clicks, then we've got another problem. As you said, there's so many problems to worry about going into this season.
But it's the perfect situation for a manager like Poch. He's in the same, not just disrespect, he's in that same ballpark of like a Rodgers, Poch. That is those level. They're elite. They're like, well, I don't want to say elite, but they're very good coaches. In that you give them a set of players and just say, coach them. Just coach them. Like, get these guys playing football or playing a style of football. It's after that when they start to falter a bit. Like, Rodgers can coach a team. Like, I don't know. I don't really get why Rodgers gets so much shit, to be honest, because he had Liverpool playing some very good football with Suarez, Sterling, and Sturridge. And then Leicester, he won a trophy with Leicester like literally 2 years ago, and look at the state of that team. So I don't really get the whole Rodgers like as a banter manager. I don't really know where it's come from. He's not amazing. He's not, he's not an elite coach, but I think he's not bad. He knows the coach team, and I think Poch is a similar one where he can coach a team. It's after that, it's the man management. It's here's 150 million pounds. What do we do with it? Where I don't think they've got that level, but they've bought all the players already, so they've just brought Poch in to say, right, we finished 12, get us playing some football. Just coach these set of young players as well.
Yeah,
who are going to be they're going to be a bit more impressionable. They're going to listen. I think there's a very good chance that he gets Chelsea playing some good football.
And I think there's less pressure on them. The fact because last season was so poor that anything's seen as a step in the right direction. So he can be hovering, I think, early season around that, top 8, be 8th, and they'll be perfectly happy. I think it won't be like last season where Potter was under enormous pressure. They'll be saying we need to get there, but if the signs are there and you can start to see some of the dangers, because everyone has a run of games early on where it can be a bit sticky, can't it? You can get a run of difficult fixtures. They've not got Europe, so you would expect as the season goes on, the strength's going to get better and better and better from that Chelsea. And they've got another transfer window in January, don't forget. So if it isn't going wrong, Chelsea will go again. It's just what they do.
No, sell them all to Saudi Arabia again, because that's what they've done, haven't they?
Well, exactly. Yeah, sell them all back out the other way, so they'll be fine. Chelsea are definitely ones to worry about. We've got a couple of questions in the chat, mainly so questions for Lucas. Your transfer advice, first of all, is from Heather. Would you take a switch for Kiefer Moore for Eddie Nketiah? There you go.
Yes.
There's a different Olivier Giroud 2.0.
There you go. Different style of player. Get him in. There you go. Balogun, Kiefer Moore, Jesus next season.
Martin's question: would you give Balogun a chance now at Arsenal? Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are saying the same, aren't they? Just give him a shot.
Not? Something of I don't get the whole hate toward Arsenal fans being weird about it. I'm like, he is our player. He's been on loan. He's an international for USA now. He's going to be leading the line for USA going into the next World Cup, right? Regardless of what we do with him. He went out on loan and scored. Wasn't he the third top goal scorer or second in the end? I think it was third behind Lacazette and Mbappe.
Top 3,
yeah. So after that, give him a chance. Why not? And it's not like we're saying drop Jesus to give him a chance or drop Saka or Martinelli. We are saying drop Eddie Nketiah to give him a chance. What's wrong with Arsenal fans? I generally don't get it. It's madness. So get 100% or just keep all 3 of them. If you like Nketiah that much, keep all 3. We've got Champions League, we've got domestic cups.
You've got enough play. If you want to go at, that was a criticism last season, wasn't it? When you threw the cups away to an extent. Use him. You've got 3 players, and there might be a time where you want to put 2 of them up there. You want 2 of them on there to a certain scenario.
Football has moved, and I think the 2 teams that have done this the best is Man City and Real Madrid. I don't really see anyone else who. I think to be fair, Bayern and Juve were doing it for a while in the mid 2010s, where they would rotate very often. Their first 11. Bayern would do it all the time with the wingers and the midfield 3. You'd see different names coming in. Thiago, your Cruz. So Man City and Real Madrid have got it now. Valverde will start one game. Tchouaméni will start a game. It'll be benched. Modric will start one. You'll see Bellingham starting a few games and then being benched. I think we've got to move away from this first 11 and backups. I don't think football is that anymore. It's so physically demanding nowadays with the pressing and the high intensity that you need a squad for a reason. It's not a first 11. It's you have a squad of 23 players. You just use them based on fitness and what the opposition requires and things like that. So the more the merrier, if I'm being honest. And it also just pushes players to compete.
It's something about
stopping game time for someone else is rubbish. Just get 3 strikers is not crazy.
It's not a lot, even in a one system. Say one striker system, because you might want to chuck one on with 20 minutes to go. You want to stick someone up that can hurt. And as you said, the depth in the squad. Yeah, you could play out wide and move him centrally. Trossard can fit in there as well if you need to and flip it around. There's so many options, and that's what you want. You want options because you get the situation that I think Liverpool found themselves in was that they pushed the team so hard, didn't they? Because that was the style of football that they played. And they got through those seasons. But then when they had to drop, it was such a big drop because physically the demands on it. And now I think he's going a slightly different way. Klopp's recognising that a little bit. As you said, Man City, would in those times where Liverpool going week, bang, 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 Kevin De Bruyne would have 3 weeks off, and then come back fresh, fighting for it. We barely saw Phil Foden for massive parts of last season. He did it with Grealish at times too, season before. You've got to do it. It's the rotation factor, particularly if you've got a player that is so important to your pressing game, or they are a focal point, and they're the ones that you're going to need. Someone like Gundogan the last 2 seasons did nothing, and then back end of the season,
he's the guy.
Their best player is the guy. Dragged him over the line in so many games.
Has to be. You have to move into this. You can't, which is what concerns me, because we've been under Arteta. He has one system, one style of play, and one set of players that he likes. His favorites over everyone else, and you need to be able to adapt. This is the year where he's going to have to do that with Champions League. You're going to have to trust in. You gave Reece Nelson a contract, so Reece Nelson is going to have to start some games.
Yeah.
Like, you're not just waiting until Saka's injured. Reece Nelson is going to have to start games, and Bukayo Saka is going to have to be rotated if you want to last the season. So we have to be prepared for this. And I just don't. I have concerns. But yeah, keep Balogun and Nketiah. Jesus can play on the wing. You'll get a few injuries. That's fine. That's 6. What is that? 7 attackers you've got there.
Yeah, you can mix them around.
A 3 striker system. So why not?
Although we all say we're in favour of this until they're in our FPL teams and they get benched, and then
we're fuming.
Absolutely livid.
Modern football will destroy FPL. That is true, but
yeah, it's a nightmare. Just the one last thing I want to touch on pre-season was in the Chelsea Brighton game. I want to call up Jean-Paul Van Heck got himself sent off for 2 bookable offences in a pre-season friendly after an hour. And the second challenge was ridiculous for someone on a booking in a pre-season. Actually launched themselves in. I mean,
great performance.
Baffling. You can see the referee going, I don't want to do it. It's a pre-season, but you're an idiot. So I've got no choice. Off you
what
go.
Are you doing?
Just absolutely bonkers. But the pre-season games, they are giving lots of goals, that's for sure. It's Premier League Summer Series. If the Premier League's anything like the Premier League Summer Series, then we've got goals galore coming forward. So, final bit I wanted to get to tonight was just before we get to the new season, we're starting to see, most of the football shirts, the home football shirts are out now for all the new clubs. We've got some of the away shirts. We've got some leaked ones. So I wanted to get your guys' opinions on what you think of some of these lovely football shirts that have come out. And of course, we start alphabetically.
No, we don't.
We always start alphabetically.
What, the bloody cyberpunk kit? Oh,
so I'll let you go first, Charles. What's your thoughts? So we've got home on the left, away in the middle, and the leaked third kit on the right for Arsenal.
The away one's a bit wacky, isn't it? Do you know what, though? To be fair, I don't think it looks that good. But I've seen it on people, and I think it looks better when it's on someone. But yeah,
what do you mean? In the game, like it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as bad when it's in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
Yeah, it just
we set a high standard. You can say it. We set a high standard for football shirts.
It just doesn't seem like an Arsenal one, does it? But maybe that's why. It's a bit wacky, yeah.
It's very bright, fluorescent-y, but then it's, as you say, jaded. I didn't think it looked as bad when I saw, because they wore it at the weekend. It's not as bad as someone's seen.
I like casual football shirts. A lot of fans do. I think that leaked third one, that's a good shirt.
That is nice.
That's lovely, and that's casual.
Really nice.
That can be worn just going out, going to the pub.
Yeah.
That one in the middle, you cannot wear that on just a normal day. Like, what?
Well,
you can't wear that.
You could wear it in Ibiza or something, I reckon.
Yeah.
I
can't wear that to the office. Like, I can wear the third one to the office, and we have casual casual wear in the office, but I still can't wear the second one.
Imagine it being a hot day and having all the bees following you, because they're attracted to yellow, aren't they? You're going to get stung of a wasp.
It would be. Heather's a fan of it in the chat, but probably because it's on Declan Rice, I think, as well. Apparently it looks better on Declan Rice.
What's with the racing lines as well? It looks like what?
Yeah, it's kind of like a wavy.
Yeah.
Scalextrics.
Dodgy lining. Yeah. It's unique, if nothing else. It's unique,
Yeah,
if nothing
It's
else.
different.
Maybe it's a grower. Now, some of the teams they've not released all their shirts yet. I couldn't find a leaked picture.
Oh,
So Aston
wow.
Villa's is a bit
Well,
blank on the aways and the.
That's very
at the minute.
different in the last 20 years.
Yes, but they've gone with claret and blue. The big change, Villa have got a new badge this season.
Yeah.
They changed the badge up. They've gone circular with it. So it's a little bit kind of little blends, little
What is
shoulder
BK8?
pads on it. They're this gambling. They're a
Burger
gambling
King meal.
firm, but didn't they have issues with? There's someone in the championship and they pulled the sponsorship because it was questionable, and Villa got a lot of flack, I think, for taking that deal on.
Hmm.
But what do we think of the Villa shirt? You like it, Shah?
Yeah, it's pretty similar to them all, isn't it? Really,
It's hard. It is hard with the home
Yeah.
shirts. So I try and review them on my website, and I find the home ones difficult because it's just like, well, it's red again, or it's like,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to find a variation. There's so much more flexibility with the away shirt, so you can't hack the fans off either and suddenly do something completely different for the home
Yeah,
shirt.
that's
So like,
true.
that's not us, or particularly with rival teams, it makes it so difficult to do. So yeah. Villas is all right, and nothing against Villas. Bournemouth are here. Bournemouth are back to the straight stripes this season. After they had like the jazz stripe effect for the home shirt, more
What
the kind
is
of
that in the
traditional.
middle? Oh my god!
And the middle one
Looks like
is
toothpaste.
it looks a bit like a load of fingerprints, kind of all matched up together on the.
The Met Police kit. That's what.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
Oh, Heather's not gonna like that.
No, the Bournemouth Police Department. I think it's supposed to, and at the waves. I think it's supposed to. That's what it's supposed to be. They're kind of supposed to show that it's the waves of the Bournemouth coast.
Waves.
That's the. They all come out with a story now, don't they? The story of the shirt.
The waves.
The waves underneath. But I think Heather says here she's not keen on
Very
the.
aquatic.
Yeah, not keen on the sponsor. The sponsor doesn't help you there either. The white
Yeah.
on it looks a bit nonsensical, but the home ones are right. It's traditional, isn't it? Traditional Bournemouth, black and red. Next up is Brentford have released all three of theirs, and it's quite a mixture you've got from Brentford. So the middle one is Brentford roll over their kits. They did it with their home kit last year. That they'll do 2 years, so their supporters don't have to buy full sets of kits for all the shirts. So the away one was the same as last season. The home one is new, and the third one is snake skin. I don't know how you would even describe that.
The third one's weird. The first two looks like Sunderland and Man City discount top. So I'm not a fan of these at all. There's no identity to these.
No, I don't mind I like the kind of faded idea on the stripes in the middle, but I don't like the arms of just a big block of black, and the collars all over the shop as well. I'm not a big fan.
No,
not a big fan.
Not.
So the third one is just.
The third one's just weird.
It's just crazy odd.
What's
and another
the
one
random
with the
lines on football
fit.
shirts? What is this? Like, why? Like veins? It's just veins on a football shirt these days. Doesn't make any sense.
It is. There's more. Who can create the most wackiest shirt? And that one's pretty funky from Brentford. Brighton, I quite like some of Brighton's. Now Brighton are another one. Their away shirt becomes their third shirt, so that's not new. But you got the home and the away. The home one last season had a bit of yellow on it. I like the away one. I do like the green and black actually, because it doesn't show it that well in the picture. But I like the white outlines on the green. Look really smart when they played against Chelsea. I thought I quite like that away one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like their kids. I think
they're nice.
Solid.
Yeah, they're solid. They're very good from Brighton. That's not too bad at all. Burnley again are one who've only done one, and it's a Burnley shirt. It's a Burnley shirt, but with a collar. I like the outward collar actually. It's like old school Burnley. It's like but it's a Burnley shirt. I don't really know how else to describe that. Claret and blue. Welcome back. I imagine we'll see some funky away shirts to come from them yet, but. Any comment on Burnley apart from it's a Burnley shirt?
Just the usual, isn't it? Again.
Standard, isn't it?
It is a Burnley shirt. Coming up next, we have now Chelsea's has been odd because they've got this issue with the sponsor, haven't they? There's still the potential there may be a sponsorship deal. It's not clear, so it's kind of nice and refreshing to see not a sponsor on the shirt, but it makes it look very training toppy, doesn't it? Because there's no.
Yeah, it does.
I quite like them though, you know. I don't know if it's because obviously I'm a Rochdale fan and like the dark blue, but I do quite like them.
The dark blues, yeah, I quite like the dark blue.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
The home one's got like a kind of faded badge. The badge is weird. It doesn't show it well on that kind of picture there, but it's not a white badge.
I thought it looked ridiculous when I first saw it, but actually in motion, I was like, that's not a bad shirt. But the second one, I'd get that second one if it wasn't Chelsea.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So that is a nice shirt. It kind of reminds me. Inter Milan had one a bit like that a few seasons back, I think.
Yeah.
An away shirt like that. Yeah, not a bad shout. The away one for Chelsea. Crystal Palace do sometimes do some nice shirts. But
what's going on here?
the
what
first one
is that?
It's got some kind of like lining behind it. I didn't mind it compared to last season.
Half red, half blue, half and half.
Yeah, I thought it's a bit different, and it might confuse you. If you're running behind someone.
You think you're playing Nottingham Forest or Chelsea?
Yeah, you cut inside, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's Arsenal.
That is just the half and half it's weird.
I know. It reminds me of Iron Man versus Captain America.
Yes, Civil War.
Crystal Palace Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War shirt. Oh, Palace. What is this? Yeah, I'm going to ask my brother's a Palace fan. Well, he's a Liverpool/Palace fan. So I'll ask him what his opinions are because he always gets the Palace shirt each season.
And then they've got a sash for the away shirt as well, which that's not too bad. I quite like the collar on. It's decent. I don't know what the purple writing's all about, but
I'm going to say, yeah, the purple's a bit.
And still yet to produce their shirt as well. Heather's sitting on the fence with this one. Maybe that's because Jeff has Jefferson Lerma's going to wear it. It might not be to do with the
first
shirt.
time me and Heather agreed on something, so you know it's bad.
Unanimous agreement. Moving down, we've got Everton. Now, this was only released, I think, yesterday or something, and the away shirt's coral, apparently. It's a little bit reddy, which Merseyside rivals and all, I think, has taken a bit of a hit. But it's another one of these. Right. Yeah, I like the collar. I do like when they bring back some of the traditional collars now and again.
I like the collars. Yeah, the collar suits that one.
Yeah. They're another one, though, that you kind of suffer sometimes with your sponsorship, don't you? If your sponsor's got a logo that's ridiculous or over the top, then you always get it if you've got a team with stripes and they've got a stupid logo. It makes it very difficult to incorporate it. But what do you think of the away one?
No, not a chance.
Yeah, I'm not keen.
It's just weird. It's just too much. It's just stop making weird shirts.
It's very strange. So if you are listening on audio, you can see this on YouTube, the shirts we're looking at. But yeah, Everton with kind of a striped...
Actually, no. In case Kira's watching, it's lovely. It's lovely.
It's lovely. Yeah, I like the home one. Away one, I'm not particularly sure, but and Silk joins us in the chat, say that the away kit looks better in person. Thinks most happy with the collar on the home kit. Yeah, that collar on the home kit definitely does suit that.
Look slick, yeah.
Suit that really nicely. Fulham again, no away shirt, no third shirt.
No Mitrovic.
No Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Possibly no Palinha with his injury.
Isn't this the same kit they've had for the last 20 years?
Yeah, it's a Fulham shirt. I don't know what the red is. The Adidas
the red
stripes.
is just weird again. Like why?
It's just dip their shoulder in ketchup or something. Don't really get where that's come from.
Keep it white. Why would you put just the red on one side? It just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, there we go.
It's honestly kits designed by TikTok.
It is. Fulham are surprised at the start of the season has come again, coming in from the chat.
Like, shit, we have to change something.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. Heather reckons that the sponsors it looks like it's starting to say Stoke, or maybe that was the Everton one. And yeah, no Mitro, savage. Yeah, Mitrovic is not going to be wearing that shirt. He's going to be wearing. Well, I don't know. We'll have to do the Saudi Arabian shirts next, won't we? We'll have to find out what they've got. I don't even know what colours these teams play in. And now we come over to Liverpool's selection of 3. So the first one is kind of their traditional red with white. It's kind of plain, but I think they had a bit of a funky one last season.
God. Has Josh seen these?
Presumably. I'd be interested in what he thought is the middle one, because the middle one's a bit of a play on. They used to have that white and green one back in the 90s, didn't they? So I think that's what they're going for. but it's just kind of
pixel art. That's what it looks like.
it kind of fades away, doesn't
Oh
it?
my god, Liverpool. I mean, the third one I think actually might be all right
The third one's decent, I think. I quite
in-game.
like the third one.
That second one is
Potentially it looks a
horrific.
little bit
Yeah.
goalkeepery, but I do think the third one is nice.
I feel like obviously you've got your standard red one, but you look like you've got the two ones at the end do look like Teletubbies, and the green bit honestly looks like, you know, when you were bored at school and you used to play on paint and you used to emit all different
that's what it
colours.
is, yeah.
That is literally what it looks like.
It's like that, or when you used to do like potato printing when you were in preschool, and you ran out of paint towards the end.
Wow.
It's yeah. I'm not really
That
sure.
might be the worst one I've seen so far.
Yeah,
I'm not sure on that away one at all. Not just because it's Liverpool, but yeah.
It's either that one or Brentford's away one. I think are just horrific.
Yeah, so the home one's classic. There's nothing a lot to it. It's a Liverpool shirt, but I think that kind of I can see what they're going for. It's classic. I do think the third one's fairly nice, and I think it's another one that will look good on. But Luton join us, of course, in the Premier League. Nothing in terms of away kit and third kit yet, but this is their home kit. So we've got a single kind of striped sash down the left hand side that fades into the orange, blue, and
not
white.
Mad at it.
It's not bad, is it?
It?
Yes. I think it'll look better on.
Yeah,
I'm not. I think it gives them a bit of identity. I'm here for that actually. I wouldn't, but personally, I wouldn't buy it. But
you see Lucas on our preview Premier League ball with his Luton Town home kit on.
Personally, I wouldn't be seen in it, but I'm here for that. I think that's all right. I think that's okay.
I don't think that's too bad. It's got
I quite like it.
Bit of pattern as well to the
something a little bit military about it. That's the only thing.
Well,
outside of the orange.
Might need that. They need some discipline to stay in the Premier League. I don't think that's too shabby. And now we've got. I don't actually think. I'm not actually sure. There was one I think that's coming out. That might be right. These were leaked ones I found. So this might not actually be Manchester City's away third kit. Yeah, it might well be. I've not got that one right. I don't think they've announced it yet. The home one is for sure. The third one I think is coming out tomorrow. I think I saw. The home one. It's they wore it. I think, didn't they, when they did all the celebrations? So I don't like it. I've seen enough of that.
That second one again. Why has that got to be Man City? Because I really like that.
Yeah,
that is cool. That's really cool. It's got an old school like England shirt feel to it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. I think that middle one could be an Arsenal away shirt. If you change the sponsor to the, with the darker red. I think you had one a bit like that, didn't you?
I think the dark red / maroon, I think always, if done well, looks really slick. That's a nice shirt in the middle. Damn it, Chelsea and City.
I know. Do you know what? As much as I don't like Man City, I think they've actually had some nice kits out.
Yeah, they have.
I think they do pretty good shirts.
I thought their third one last season, like the fluorescent yellowy green one with the black, that was really nice. That was cool. That was a really good shirt. Yeah, there's
marketable.
Definitely is, and there's more of them appearing on the streets now as well. I've spotted lots of Haaland shirts, since Haaland's come.
Yeah, they popped up.
A lot more Manchester City shirts.
You were saying that Mbappe. I see kids with a Haaland shirt all the time in London.
Oh my god, that
yeah, I do. Now Manchester United have released some shirts, and the middle one is very controversial. So I'll let you two have your say, and then I'll give you my thoughts on these.
It's not Man United, but I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the middle one. I don't know what it is yet. I think it's just I hate Man United, so it's that thing that is Man United, and I just like there's like one or two shirts I've really liked. Like the Sharp shirt, I think is just exceptional. That third one's horrific. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
that's terrible. I think the second one is going to be quite popular.
Do you reckon?
First one's pretty slick as well, but I think the green it's weird though. Man United in green.
I think that's why I'm so shocked.
Really
and I'm
weird.
Like, what?
It's odd.
Well, imagine that was Newcastle. Imagine that was Newcastle.
Yeah.
Kit.
It's dairy. I do quite like the home one. I like the use of the black on the home, and I
The
like the
home's
fact
good.
that they've enlarged the sponsor a little bit. I like the home kit. The away kit looks a little bit like a deck chair for me. Like you get to one of these holiday camps, and it's
Oh no!
to be
It actually
fair.
does. Why would you ruin it?
This is my first thought. Everyone was sort of saying it also looks like a humbug. I was like, that's just a deck chair. That long sleeve one looks horrendous. They've got this horrible
Long sleeve
kind
one
of
doesn't work. Yeah.
long sleeve one doesn't
that's
work.
awful.
It grows on me a bit, not enough that I want it, and
I think that
buy
middle
it,
one. I think you'd be
but
surprised. I reckon by about Christmas time. I think after
it might
seeing
be a
that,
grower.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be. I think it's going to be quite popular this year.
It might be a grower. The third one, it doesn't do
good
anything
God.
for me. It's a white. It's never going
It
to
looks
stay
like pajamas. The third one.
It
Yeah.
reminds me
Looks
of
like a pair of
like
pajamas.
it reminds me of something Liverpool would have. That
Yeah.
end one.
What shit?
Yeah.
Talking a little. It's a perfect segue to introduce our Spanish friend.
Talking about
Hola.
shit. Talking about shit.
I
Kit.
thought you were going to say talking of shit.
Talking that would be Spurs. Talking of shit kits, Josh is in the chat.
I think Heather's already confirmed that we weren't a fan of Liverpool. So, no, I think we said the first one was all right, and the third one we got like the green and white one. Yeah, I think
Green white one is bad.
The use of the word interesting, it must mean something different in Spain because that's not how we saw it.
Your third kit is joining the sin bin as well. With what is that? It might just be a bad. I'm hoping this is a bad photo.
It might be. I've seen it in other bits where it doesn't look as bad, but it also doesn't do a lot for me either. Josh says, "Why are we using Newcastle's kit in the middle?"
It's so true. That should be Newcastle's kit.
It
should.
Yeah.
Doesn't Tyrell Malacia look smiley? Sat on the bench.
Maybe that's it as well. The picture of like him in the clouds. It's just weird as well.
It is a bit weird. It actually looked better because United taken forever to release these. These have been out for ages.
Yeah, to release images.
They released images. They had Anana had the jacket on, and they released that before the kit. And the jacket actually looked. I thought the jacket looked alright. Actually, that kind of looked cool. But yeah, it's fairly funky. Yeah, bit of a mixed bag, but I do like the home one. Coming on to Newcastle. Newcastle have released their new ones. Again, sponsor's better than what they've had, but I just think if you had the right sponsor on that home shirt, it would be. They've gone back to the thinner stripes, and they should have brought back for the Champions League Newcastle Brown or whatever they used to have. You know, the ones with Asprilla and that used to play for them in the 90s, just for one season, just to.
Isn't that the third one what they had last season?
It might be. It might be with a new sponsor, possibly.
I think they're all right. I mean, the second one's just Saudi Arabian kits.
Yeah.
Newcastle's kits are always all right, to be fair.
They're always all right. I think that I prefer the away one to the Saudi effort that they had the other day. But it's
everyone's getting a green kit for Saudi Arabia. It must be.
This is what Josh says. Everyone wants green because that's where they're trying to say, look, Saudi, remember, they're trying to get up their players to buy. This is a sale, isn't it? This is like it's the DFS sale. They want to move their players on, so we'll pay the away kit in January when the transfer window's open.
We've all got a green kit. Liverpool got green. Arsenal, United, Chelsea didn't have a green. It's got a hint of green, I'd say.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a full set there from Newcastle, and to Nottingham Forest, who have no sponsor again. And if you were to come up with a template home Nottingham Forest shirt, that would be a template Nottingham Forest home shirt. I think
that middle one looks like an under 14s hockey team.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that is the hockey jerseys we had at school.
It again looks like something you do on paint, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it just really reminds me of when you're bored, you do it on paint and go woo.
It's my daughter's version of a straight line. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go, Elanga in that next season.
Just he'll look the business. There we go. And so she's very traditional. I saw Roy Keane play. You did see Roy Keane playing that home kit. I'm sure you did. Nottingham Forest kit to me always remains that. I can't remember any other Nottingham Forest kits bar. They used to have the one again with the black on the collar in their first early years with Stuart Pearson with it like Labiats or something as their sponsor. That's the only other one I can think of. This is it's a cartel. All having green kits means most of them will run out the third kits. There's a point in buying them. Good point. This is it. They've all got together and said, now let's get some more game time out of the third kits. Kit clashes for away kits, possibly the case. Sheffield United are back, and
standard, isn't it? Again,
it's red and white striped shirt. It's not a lot really to say about that one. To be fair, I'll skip through it because I've got a lot to say about that one. No away or third. And here we go. Lucas's shirt that Lucas has on pre-order, ready for the new season. You can't see in the picture.
Shit, honestly, and that's unbiased. They're all shit.
Yeah, it's the home kit's got like kind of graded little different off-color whites, like it's been smudged with dirty fingers on it.
It looks like permanent marker. Yeah. It's
very strange. What the hell? Second one's like, I mean, Tottenham had some shockers the last couple of years. This is a little bit more reasonable. The third one's all right. I don't mind the third one. Third one I think will look all right, but again,
the mud kit.
The mud kit. The mud kit. And top sponsor. Why does it have to be red? Why is it not navy blue?
Plain and boring.
Plain and boring in the chat. Yeah,
just like Spurs.
And the third looks like a black and white movie. Yeah, it's pretty grey. We're moving on to West Ham. West Ham have released their home shirt, which is a West Ham shirt. It's got bubbles in it, this one, though. It's got embedded bubbles in it.
Yeah, this is the least creative award goes to West Ham this year.
West Ham. They've just forgotten to put the colours on the badge and the underwriting of the second one. Forgot to fill in the graphics. So it's classic West Ham, as Heather says, just classic. Yeah, it's a West Ham shirt. And finally, Phil Mente, we have...
The Wanderers.
The Wanderers.
Oh my God.
The Wolverhampton Wanderers.
That's like Portugal. That is literally Portugal, isn't it? That second one.
Well, they're all half their players have put. Well, they were.
I know.
Before they got Saudi Arabia.
What the hell is that? That's being submitted. That's in the sin bin. That second one.
It's a bit messy, isn't it?
What's with the it's dirty look? Like what's with the?
I know.
I don't know what
kid who's come from playing out in the garden, just with muddy hands.
Maybe this is it, because then they're like, when it's dirty, then it doesn't, it won't look ruined. They won't get in trouble.
That is true.
That's just wow. There's some really bad kits this year.
That's bad. The home one, yeah, okay. It's got some little pinstripes in the back. Don't mind the home one, but their away one, it's bit funky for my taste, to be honest. And I'll script through quickly because I've got a few from other leagues. Just to get your thoughts on these three. These are away kits from the Championship.
What?
So you've got
this is Cyberpunk. This is literally
we've now gone to colours. Actually, Simon, I'll go back to Wolves because there's a cracking comment. It looks like a pack of Doritos. Absolutely
chili
fair.
heat wave.
Absolutely fair. Chili heat waves. Absolutely.
Chili heat wave.
That's
I'm not mad at the West Brom one.
Not mad at the West Brom one. I like the West Brom. Yeah, the West Brom one I put up because I thought that's quite nice. Yeah. The away one and the rest is just kind of funky.
Is that Stoke and
Sunderland? Sunderland's away shirt. Josh is questioning the green on the pod tonight. We've got a new sponsor. No, this is in lieu of Saudi Arabia. We're trying to get the official sponsorship for the Saudi Arabian football podcast. Everybody else is getting a transfer, so we've gone for the big old greens for those. Other stuff in the lower league, just a couple to put up there.
Oh my God, that one's mad.
The Wimbledon one's cool.
The Wimbledon one I like. This is Gillingham aways as well with a bit of a fade, and then we have Carlisle United's away kit, which
the first one,
the
Lego one.
I'm gonna say
is a bit Lego. It's cheetah meets.
What is going on?
It's a paint job again, isn't it? It's a paint job.
Maybe odd.
It's very, very colourful. It's colourful. It's nothing. It's very colourful. Just a couple more before we go.
This
good. God, no. Wow. That is the most American thing I've ever seen.
It's very American, yeah.
Very American. Barnsley.
It's the Barnsley
sponsored by the American government.
Barnsley twinned with Washington. Yeah.
this is so weird. Barnsley's kit being this. This is really weird.
Absolutely
Football's just gone. It's just gone.
It's gone. It's a ludicrous shirt. Josh says, "Have you seen the
this.
Lampwick Majors goalkeeper kit?" We haven't got time to go down that far in the list.
We'll be here for 5 hours if we start looking at kit.
Goalkeeper kits of everything. Yeah,
Mr.
Blobby apparently is the that was goalkeeper kit. We might have to check that out. Yeah, American Barnsley, and then we spotted this one the other day. I mean, if you have a nice shirt to display, and you've got Olivier Giroud to stick it on,
you've just got to, haven't you?
You just do it.
I think I haven't seen anything better than that this year so far.
That's nice.
That's number one so far. That's elite.
That's a top shirt, and it's done. You know, you call Giroud up to do the promotional photos, and then you stick him in. You know, one of the other Wolves away shirt. It would have just been horrendous. I like that. That's a very
shirt.
Yeah,
very nice shirt. One. And last up is one of the ones that's been kind of trending around. Juventus' shirt this season, which is zebra-ish.
No, not for me. There's too much going on.
Yeah, it's so that people can't spot all the transactions and
be subtle.
Points deductions.
Subtle. Like, it has to be slick, subtle, but a bit edgy. Like the Milan one is everything.
Yeah, Milan home one's very nice as well. It's classic.
Like, you don't want it to be distracting, but you want it to, like, when you look at it properly, you're like, that is a really nice shirt. But you don't want it to just like give you a headache this gives me a headache.
Unless you're playing against it, and then maybe that's the plan. But you know,
yeah.
you're like, oh my god, yeah, be too much to handle. But there we go. There's the football shirts that we have so far. I didn't get to watch those shirts, but I've heard they're lovely.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I only know the home one, and that's quite nice, to be fair. But we've not seen the away one yet, but I'm hoping they're not too crazy.
We haven't. We can touch upon that on the Lower League podcast, of course, which is on Thursday, which we're excited. If you haven't heard us talk about it again, there will be a Lower League podcast on Thursday. But for now, thank you for joining us on our weekly podcast here on a Monday. Charlotte, where can everybody find you to get more of you and find out more about the Lower League podcast?
Well, obviously on Thursday I'll be on the Lower League podcast. But apart from that, on all socials, ShartXRAFC, or my Rochdale Her Game 2 stuff is Rochdale HGT. And that's on Twitter, Instagram, Threads as well now, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. But yeah, Threads. TikTok, I don't know if I said TikTok, Instagram, all of it. And here as well. That's where you can find me.
The whole shebang. Of course, that's where you can find Chart. And Lucas, where can everybody find yourself?
On Crab Dribble, Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter.
Good stuff. Check Crab out as well. And we've got lots coming up. We're hoping to do a big pre-season one the week before pre-season where we can all give our predictions on what's going to happen and how you fit 7 teams into the top 4, I think is going to be the major discussion.
Well, we never went over our tables from the prediction from last season.
No, we didn't. We're going to have to try and, I think predictions this season we're going to try and be a little bit more up to date on. And I was hoping to put it in here, but I didn't load it up in time. That we have Fantasy Football, the Absolute Football Podcast, Fantasy Football League. Do check the Twitter social out. There is the league code to get in there. I'll try and post it on there again tonight. Come into the team, see if you know more than we do, and see how we get on during the season. And
I won, by the way, my fantasy league. I won 3 fantasy leagues last year. Just saying.
I only lost the work one. Of FPL over here.
The work one is silly. There are some menacing players in my work one. It's bad.
Some serious business. So there you go. Lucas is slowing down the challenge. Do you have enough to just knock him off his FPL crown?
If you win the Absolute Football Podcast as well, I heard that Josh will buy you a 5 guys.
Yeah. This is it. So far, we had a Josh hug. The hug from Josh was one of the prizes.
That's if you lose,
5 guys. A hug and take the loser and the winner for a 5 guys and a hug. That's the prize we've got coming up. But for now, thank you for everybody for joining us. We've had a great time. We are the Absolute Football Podcast, and take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you